Hey yo, hopefully this is picking up my voice. Blessings in life to anyone who is in a place we can hear this and receive what I'm about to say. I just wanted to get on here briefly and share a thought, a deep thought I'm having right now. Today is December 16th. The time is it's approximately 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I am in a space in my life, I'm in a period of transition. And I'm going to reserve the details for my Patreon. But essentially, I am looking for work and I do not have consistent income. So I'm living off of my savings and loans. I graduated school from an MBA program earlier this year. I resigned from a grassroots organization that had been active since June of last year. And I'm struggling a bit because of the difference in existence that I'm having right now with the general narrative or the societal norm. Even though I'm looking for work, I'm also in a very deep healing process, um, healing from so many different past traumas, healing from losses, healing from changes. And I am on my own dime. I'm on my own clock right now. No one is paying me. I'm not, getting money from it. There's no one supporting me but me. So why do I feel almost a sense of guilt that I am no longer a member of a member of the life script? And that's something that, I talked yesterday about that brutal honesty, that brutal self-reflection and self-assessment that I think everyone should do. Why do I feel that way? Why do I feel like I can't, you know, consume YouTube videos all day? Why do I feel like I can't, go into my kitchen and experiment and cook up different dishes and try different ways, especially now that I'm plant-based and whole foods, meaning I don't consume animal products anymore. Why do I feel like it's 12 p.m. and I haven't sent an email to anyone, and I feel a sense of judgment? From what lens am I judging myself? Because if I was judging myself from the lens of it's time for me to heal, it's time for me to pour into myself, it's time for me to disengage from the general societal narrative, it's time for me to look inward and to really find out what I am and who I am and what I need to be, and it's time for me to reflect. But while I have been doing that, I will admit that I've also been consuming a lot of content that has not necessarily poured into that goal, right? So I get on Reddit and I'll get on different forums um, that's just talking about anything and everything. That's the beauty of the internet, right? There is no limits to what you can learn. And as someone who I consider myself to be a lifelong learner, and I love to gain knowledge. At the same time, I am a consumer of that knowledge. And I don't feel comfortable always being in a state of consumption. As a matter of fact, I am pretty anti consumption. I think that our standard way of life right now, where you can order anything and everything offline, and you can order any food at your fingertips year round, it's very detached from the physical and material reality. Like how we're already in overshoot for this year, right? The earth has already produced as much as she can, and we're pushing our arable lands to give us more and more each year, and we only have about 60 years of harvest left. um Phosphorus, which is very important nutrient that has to go into our soil, is being depleted rapidly. And so I am personally not a huge advocate of mindless consumption. I think life requires consumption, right? If I don't drink water, if I don't eat food, if I don't get certain nutrients, I will not live. So there is a baseline level of consumption that we all must have, but the level of consumer culture that we've reached in first world Western society is anything beyond sustainable. It is not sustainable and it's not healthy. So in the material consumption world, I'm very solid about that. But when it comes to the consumption of knowledge, the consumption of knowing, the consumption of, taking this online course or getting on this webinar or, a lot of this I am intertwining with networking as well. I mean, it serves a dual purpose, but some of it is just me consuming knowledge for the sake of me consuming knowledge. It can be an addiction as well. And it's probably why I did so good in school and I ended up in an Ivy League college for my MBA is because that ended up being my coping mechanism was going to school and consuming books and learning. It allowed me to kind of escape the poverty and the hardship that I grew up in. And I also knew that education was my ticket. I'm just being real. Um, And so I just wanted to make this recording and leave this thought because if there's anyone out there who kind of is in the same mind frame of, I've read books on entrepreneurship and, a lot of, of the off the beaten path entrepreneurs do, have a, what do I want to call this? A formula for, consumption versus production, and you do have to switch your mindset from being one of a consumer to being one of a producer. And I am in that transition of switching my mind to being that of a producer, which is why I jumped on here and made this live stream. If there is anyone else in this world who feels this way, can potentially hear it. But I think the parting thought that I want to leave is, when I get my next role or I launch my next business, I will be in the production and the productivity mindset. And I am in it right now. Clearly, I wouldn't have got on here and made this stream if I wasn't. And I don't think it's safe to always want to be consuming, but there is a balance. And I leave that message with anyone who hears this is to strike that balance between what you consume and what you produce. Um, because I don't think being in either space continuously is healthy. Um, People who we think of as producers in our society, if you want to call those the titans of business, um, they in return receive and consume a lot of financial, um, a lot of finance. They get a lot of money. They get a lot of currency, and that can also be a problem when you're consuming so much and leaving so little for everyone else. So this is going on 9-minute mark. I'm gonna end it here, but yeah, I'm just curious if anyone else is in a state where they're in a point of transition and they're trying to heal and work on themselves, but feeling guilt from that, even though there's no reason to feel guilty about it. I am not conning anyone out of any money. I am not, you know, borrowing from people with no intention of paying it back. Like I'm literally living off the money that I've, accumulated in my bank account. So I'm fun today. No one else paid me to do any work today, but that's okay because the work that I did was using the time to make this recording. The work that I'm going to continue to do is work to build myself up. So when I'm back in to the job force or I'm in a space where I'm producing as an entrepreneur, um, I'm going to look back and at this as an investment. So I guess the parting message is be comfortable with investing in yourself in any way that transpires you, or any way that investment works for you. Make sure you do it if you have the time and the privilege to do it. All right. Peace.